Can you solve all these Class 10 Political Science Chapter 1 Power Sharing questions? Capital of Belgium. Well picked. Brussels is correct. Belgium neighbors are. Nicely done. France and Germany is solid. The capital city of Belgium. Great thinking. Brussels is right. From which city was Carlisle? Strong choice. Bear is right. Civil war in Sri Lanka ended in? Sharp thinking. 2009 is right. Majoritarianism was adopted by? Great job. Sri Lanka is accurate. When was the Tamil Eelam formed? Excellent. 1975 is well reasoned. India is a power-sharing country. You got it? True fits? Belgium is a small country in dash. Exactly. Europe makes sense. Amsterdam is the capital of Belgium. Nice work. False fits perfectly. When did Belgium gain independence? Good thinking. 1830 is right. Tamil speakers in Sri Lanka are dash. Excellent choice. 18% is right. Sinhala speakers in Sri Lanka are of? Bravo. 74% is the answer. In Brussels dash, people speak French. Correct response. 80% is accurate. Sri Lankan Tamils in Sri Lanka are of? Right again. 13% is valid. Which is the capital city of Belgium? You're right. Brussels is correct. Sri Lanka gained independence in dash. 1948 works well. When did Sri Lanka gain independence? Solid response, 1948. Belgium is smaller in area of stare of. Well done. Haryana is right. Dash is the example of pressure group. Correct. Farmers is spot on. When did the civil war of Sri Lanka end? Well reasoned. 2009 is correct. When did the conflict in Sri Lanka end? Smart move. 2009 is accurate answer. What type of government does India have? Valid point. Federal government is true. Which is the smallest country in Europe? Perfect. Belgium is the one. Belgium has worked on the principles of? Right choice. Accommodation is best. Which is the state religion of Sri Lanka? Smart pick. Buddhism is correct. Where will you find community government? You chose Belgium. Correct. What is the official religion of Sri Lanka? On track. Buddhism is correct. Intelligent sharing of power is done among? Nice selection. Legislature, executive and judiciary is correct. Sri Lanka emerged independent in the year of? 1948 is sound. In which country do Indian Tamil belongs to? Smart move. Sri Lanka is accurate answer. Most of the Sinhala speaking people are dash. You chose Buddhists. Correct. When did Belgium amended their constitution? 1970-1993 works well. Where is the headquarters of European Union? Right again. Brussels is valid. The vertical division of power is called dash. Nice work. Federalism fits perfectly. Which community lived in the Wallonia region? Great thinking. French is right. In Belgium, the percentage of French community. Excellent. 40% is well reasoned. Tamil natives of Sri Lanka are called the Dash. Bravo. Sri Lankan Tamils is the answer. The majority social group in Sri Lanka was Dash. Sharp thinking. Lion is right. Which ethnic group is in majority in Sri Lanka? Right choice. Lion is best. What is the percentage of Christians in Sri Lanka? Solid response. 7% is valid. The situation in Belgium was an example of Dash. Perfect. Accommodation is the one. What are the Tamil natives in Sri Lanka called? Smart pick. Sri Lankan Tamils is correct. In which year Sri Lanka got its independence? 1948 is sound. Who was demanding a separate Elam in Sri Lanka? On track. Tamilians is correct. Community government has the power regarding to. Well picked. All of the above is correct. Which language is dominantly spoken in Belgium? Exactly, Dutch makes sense. Which of the following is not a region of Belgium? Nicely done. Luxembourg is solid. In which year Sri Lanka became independent country? 1948 is true. Which language is spoken by majority of Belgians? You got it. Dutch fits. Sri Lanka emerged as an independent country in Dash. Excellent choice. 1948. When did Sri Lanka emerge as an independent country? Great job. 1948 is accurate. Dash means a social division based on shared culture. Well done. Ethnic is right. Federal division of power is Dash type of arrangement. Correct response. Power sharing is accurate. Between Dash, one Dash, they amended their constitution. Nice selection, 1970 and 1993. Which language was given preference in the Sinhala Act? Good thinking. Lion is right. Tamil Elam was demanded in the Dash parts of Sri Lanka. You're right. Northern and Eastern is correct. When did the Civil War started and ended in Sri Lanka? Well reasoned. 1983-2009. Power sharing is a good way to ensure the stability of. Correct. Political order is spot on. In which year did India's constitution come into force? Strong choice. 1950 is right. Social conflict leads to violence and Dash instability. Right choice. Political is best. Power struggle demanding separate Elam was launched by. Well reasoned. Tamilians is correct. In which region did the Dutch-speaking population live? Well picked. Flemish region is correct. Power shared by two or more political parties is known as. Valid point. Coalition government is true. In India, the 3 tiers of government are known as Dash. Excellent choice. Unitary is right. Dash was chosen as the headquarters of the European Union. Great thinking. Brussels is right. A war between 2 groups of people in a country is called... You got it. Civil war fits. Which community demanded the creation of a Tamil Eelam? Perfect. Sri Lankan Tamils is the one. Who is the final interpreter of the Constitution of India? Nice selection. Supreme Court is correct. What percentage of Sri Lankan population is Tamil speaking? You're right. 18 is correct. By which act the majoritarianism was imposed in Sri Lanka? Smart Pick Act of 1956 is correct. In 1980, several political parties were formed demanding of... Well done. Tamil Eelam is right. Which language is spoken by 80% people of Brussels? Strong choice. French is right. The principle of majoritarianism led to a civil war in Dash. Clear logic. Sri Lanka is sound. What is the population of Sri Lanka as compared to Haryana? Good thinking. About same as Haryana is right. In which year was the Act of Sinhala Only Bill was passed? 1956 works well. Most of the Sinhalese-speaking people in Sri Lanka are Dash. Great job. Buddhists is accurate. Brussels was chosen as the headquarters of which organization? Sharp thinking. European Union is right. Community government is the 3rd kind of government in Dash. Nicely done. Belgium is solid. What was the percentage of Indian Tamils living in Sri Lanka? Nice work, fits perfectly. Which system of power sharing is called checks and balances? On track. Horizontal distribution is correct. When different parties share power to form a govt is called. Excellent. Coalition is well reasoned. Which place was used as headquarters for the European Union? Bravo! Brussels is the answer. Which statement justifies the ethnic complexity of Sri Lanka? You chose Sinhalese 74%, Tamils 18%, correct? Which language was accepted as official language in Sri Lanka? Exactly. Lion makes sense. In which year Sinhala was recognized as the official language? Smart move. 1956 is accurate answer. Which of the following is the capital of the city of Belgium? Correct response. Brussels is accurate. Which one of the following languages is not spoken in Belgium? Right again. Hindi is valid. How much is the population of Belgium as compared with Haryana? Solid response. Half of Haryana is valid. Which religion did the Sinhalese government promise to protect? Correct. Buddhism is spot on. Which of the following subjects are not part of the state list? You're right. Railways is correct. In the capital city, Brussels, 80% of people speak Dash. Smart move. French is accurate answer. 3. Which of the following community is in majority in Sri Lanka? Smart pick. Sinhala is correct. What is the percentage of Sinhala-speaking people in Sri Lanka? Great thinking. 74% is right. Which of the following countries have federal division of power? And perfect. Both A and B is the one. The major language generally spoken in Belgium are dash and dash. Right again. Dutch and French is valid. Were the French-speaking community in Belgium rich and powerful? Well done. Yes is right. Which language is mainly spoken in the Flemish region of Belgium? You got it. Dutch fits. While formation of European Union was chosen as headquarters. Sharp thinking. Brussels is right. Power is shared among different levels of government are called. Valid point. Vertical is true. What was the percentage of Sinhala-speaking community in Sri Lanka? Good job. 72% works well. In which part of Sri Lanka are the Sri Lankan Tamils concentrated? Clear logic. North and east is sound. Power shared among governments at different levels is also called. Well picked. Vertical distribution is correct. Power shared at different level of the government is known as dash. Correct. Federal form of government is spot on. Between 1970 and 1993, Belgium amended their constitution times. Bravo, 4 is the answer. What was the population of the French-speaking community in Belgium? Well reasoned. 40% is correct. Which minority community is relatively rich and powerful in Belgium? Excellent. French is well reasoned. Between which years was the Constitution of Belgium amended 4 times? Good thinking. 1970 and 1993 is right. An act of recognizing Sinhala as the official language was signed in. 1956 is accurate. Trincomalee, Batticaloa and Colombo were dominated by which community? Nicely done. Sri Lankan Tamil is solid. Which region stressed that power sharing will bring out better outcomes? Correct response. Prudential is accurate. A war, like conflict between 2 opposing groups in a country, is called? Nice work. Civil war fits perfectly. Which community leaders dominated other community leaders in Sri Lanka? Nice selection. Sinhala is correct. Belgium shares borders with France, the Netherlands, Germany, and dash. Strong choice. Luxembourg is right. Which of the following articles deals with the Union and its territory? On track. Article 3 is correct. The minority French-speaking community were relatively rich and powerful. Right choice. True is best. Which of the following city is the headquarters of the European Union? Exactly. Brussels makes sense. 59% of the country's total population who speaks Dutch lives in. You chose Flemish region, correct? What is the dominant language spoken in Brussels, the capital of Belgium? Solid response. French is valid. community government of Belgium is a good example of power sharing among. Excellent choice. Different social groups is right. How many times between 1970 and 1993 was the Belgium Constitution amended? Sharp thinking. 4 is right. In Belgium, the state governments are subordinate to the central government. Excellent choice. False is right. The system of check and balance comes under which form of power sharing? Perfect. Horizontal power sharing is the one. Which of these is a fundamental right guaranteed to the citizens of India? Strong choice. Right to property is right. Power sharing between different organs of the government are referred to as. Valid point. Horizontal power sharing is true. The majority of population in Brussels, the capital city of Belgium, speaks. Nicely done. A. French is solid. The functioning of executive or laws made by legislature are checked by the. You got it? Judiciary fits. How many times was the Constitution of Belgium amended between 1970 and 1993? Exactly. 4 times makes sense. Between 1970 to 1993, how many times was the Constitution of Belgium amended? Right again. 4 times is valid. Which organ of the Indian government has the power to amend the Constitution? Excellent. Parliament is well reasoned. Which one of the following countries does not share its boundary with Belgium? Clear logic. Sweden is sound. In between 1970 and 1993, how many times the Constitution was amended in Belgium? Good job. 4 times works well. Sri Lanka is an island nation, just a few kilometers from the southern coast of. Smart pick. Tamil Nadu is correct. Division of powers between higher and lower levels of government is called dash. Well done. Vertical division is right. After the independence of Sri Lanka witnessed the supremacy of which community? Good thinking. The Sinhalese is right. Which of the following system of power sharing is also called checks and balance? Nice work. Horizontal division fits perfectly. After peace, which international agency established their headquarters in Brussels? Well reasoned. European Union is correct. Which major social group constituted the largest share in population of Sri Lanka? Solid response. Sinhalese is valid. Tyranny of the majority is not just oppressive for the minority and only minority. False is the answer. The minority French-speaking community was relatively poor and powerful in Belgium. Great thinking. Talk is right. Which of the following is not one of the 3 organs of the governed powers are shared? Smart move. Bureaucracy is accurate answer. Power is shared among different organs of government, such as the dash, lay and dash. Nice selection. Legislature, executive and judiciary is correct. Brussels has a separate government in which both communities have equal representation. You chose true? Correct. The power of the states to make laws on subjects listed in the state list is called dash. Correct. State authority is spot on. All power of a government resides in one person or group of persons located at one place. Great job. False is accurate. The democratically elected government adopted a series of dash to establish Sinhala supremacy. You're right. Majoritarian is correct. Which government in Belgium is a good example of power sharing among different social groups? Right choice. Community government is best. The Sri Lankan Tamils did not raise protests for the recognition of Tamil as official language. On track. False is correct. Which language was declared as the only official language of Sri Lanka by an act passed in 1956? Correct response. Layaon is accurate. In which year was the act passed to recognize Sinhala as the only official language in Sri Lanka? Well picked. 1956 is correct. The act passed to recognize Sinhala as the official language of Sri Lanka was passed in the year of? You chose 1956, correct? When was the act passed which established Sinhala as the official language to be used in Sri Lanka? Clear logic. 1956 is sound. Which article of the Indian Constitution deals with the fundamental duties of the citizens of India? Well done. Article 51A is right. A legitimate government is one where citizens, through participation, acquire a stake in the system. Nice selection. True is correct. The 7th schedule of the Indian Constitution lists the subjects fall under which of the following? Well reasoned. All of the above is correct. A belief that the majority community should be able to rule over a country in whichever way it wants is. Solid response. Majoritarianism is valid. In Sri Lanka, major social groups are the Sinhala speakers and the Tamil speakers. Great thinking. True is right. When many countries of Europe came together to form the European Union, Dash was chosen as the headquarter. Good job. Brussels works well.
All these government measures, coming one after the other, gradually increased the dash among the Sri Lankan Tamils.
Sharp thinking. Feeling of alienation is right. Power is shared among different organs of government, such as the legislature, executive, and judiciary is known as. Excellent choice. Horizontal power sharing is right. The term ILM stands for. On track. State is correct. Identify the country dash. Great job. Belgium is accurate. The people whose forefathers came from India to Sri Lanka as plantation workers during the colonial period are called dash. Nicely done. Indian Tamils is solid. What is the term given to a form of government in which power is shared between a central government and individual states? Exactly. Federal government makes sense. What was the proportion of population of Sinhala speakers, Sri Lankan Tamil speakers, and Indian Tamil speakers, respectively? Good thinking. 74-13-5 is right. A violent conflict between opposing groups within a country that becomes so intense that it appears like a war is called dash. You got it. Civil war fits. Identify the wrongly matched pair: Brussels, Dutch-speaking Walloon, French-speaking Flemish, dash, capital region. Strong choice. And is right. Population in Belgium comprised of. Bravo. French in minority is the answer.
Belgium located in which continent?
Perfect. Europe is the one.
What is the name of the procedure mentioned in the Indian Constitution by which the centre and the states can exercise their powers?
You're right. Separation of powers is correct.
In Sri Lanka, there are two subgroups of Tamils. Tamil natives of the country are called Sri Lankan Tamils and the rest are Indian Tamils.
Nice work. True fits perfectly. Sri Lanka emerged as an independent country in dash. Correct response. 1948 is accurate. Dash was chosen as the headquarters of European Union.
Correct. Brussels is spot on.
Tamil Eelam was demanded in the dash, parts of Sri Lanka.
Excellent. Northern and Eastern is well reasoned.
A strategy under which all the major segments of the society are provided with a permanent share of power in the governance of the country is known as.
Smart pick. Majoritarianism is correct. The Daesh, ministers of Nigeria, although judges, are appointed by the executive. They can check the functioning of executive or laws made by the legislatures.
Smart move. Finance is accurate answer.
A belief that the majority community should be able to rule the country in whichever way it wants, by disregarding the wishes and needs of the minorities, is
right again. Majoritarianism is valid.
In Belgium, the leaders have realized that the unity of the country is impossible only by respecting the feelings and interests of different communities and regions. Gay. Well picked. False is correct.
Power sharing between different organs of the government are referred to as.
Valid point. Horizontal power sharing is true.
People belonging to the same ethnic group believe in their common descent because of similarities of physical type or of culture or both. They need always to have the same religion or nationality.
Right choice. False is best.
Of the total population of Belgium, 59% live in the Flemish region and speaks the Dutch language. Another 40% of people live in the Wallonia region and speak French. Remaining 1% of the Belgians speak German.
Bravo. True is the answer.
A belief that the majority community should be able to rule a country in whichever way it wants, by disregarding the wishes and needs of the minority is power. Sharing central government, majoritarianism, community government. On track. Majoritarianism is correct.
A belief that the majority community should be able to rule a country in whichever way it wants, by disregarding the wishes and needs of the minority is. Nice work. Majoritarianism fits perfectly.
How you will get all these quiz questions in PDF books format.
Nice selection. Contact Narayan Changder on Facebook is correct.